CBAI.
What's up, Suno creators? This is Cam with CBAI, and welcome back. If you've ever generated the perfect Suno track only to realize later that you needed to replace a few lyrics here and there, insert a new word, or redo repeated sections such as your chorus, today's your day. By the end of this tutorial, you'll know exactly how to 1. Swap out a phrase in any section of your lyrics, 2. Add a new word without breaking the flow, and 3. Replace the lyrics in repeated sections such as your chorus. No more starting from scratch. So with that, let's jump into Suno's new editor and make those edits happen. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and activate the bell icon so you never miss another Suno hack. And with that, let's dive in. Now the first thing I want to do is demo the full bass track for you because this is going to give us the context we need as we go through this tutorial. I'm going to be using this bass track for all of the tips and tricks I'm showing you today. So what we're going to do is give this original track a listen, and then we're going to go and do the edits. So let's give it a listen. This is called another catchy vaporwave track I wrote out. Let's give it a listen. All right, so to get the best results, there are a few things that we need to do to ensure that our lyrics are tracking properly before we go in and start editing them, and to tidy up our song so that we have an easy way to navigate as we're replacing our sections. I'm on my song in Suno, so the way to get to the editor is you go to your song in whatever screen you're on, click on the dot 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 icon, and then go up to Remix Edit and click on Open in Editor. If you're in some other screen, such as the Workspaces view, you could find the song that you want and go over to the Edit button right here. So I'll go ahead and click that and let it load. And here we go. So what we've got is a nicely organized and color-coded song with correct section headers and divided out by color. And then on the left, we have correct lyrics with correct meta tags on the side, and they line up to the audio itself. So this isn't any replacements I've done yet. And so this is going to be important because we want to set up our track and the tracking within Suno of the lyrics to be able to handle any updates we do. If Suno is confused, this is my opinion, but if Suno is confused about what your lyrics are or where they actually are in the song, it's going to be pretty hard to get the accurate replacements for them. So now that I've shown you how it looks all pretty, I'm going to reset it and show you what it originally looked like. So I will hit reset all. You don't need to do this with yours. It might bring it back in a way that you didn't want, but I'm going to do it so I get it back to the original state. So now you can see a couple things. Number one is I only have one giant section called song, and I have lyrics that are not lining up accurately. So I don't have any ah, yeah, yeahs and oohs or any of that in there, which it was important. I have no headers. It's not divided out or set up accurately. For whatever reason, it pulled it in this weird way. It depends on how you generated your song, how this is going to get divided out. Some songs I've created in Suno, and they're all very well defined and everything's good, and other ones, they're kind of a mess like this. So the first thing before I go in and start making this area all pretty is I would recommend we're going to do a special feature called match lyrics to audio. So the way to get there is go up to this dot 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 at song editor, click on it, and then click on this match lyrics to audio button. So it's very important to note that what we're doing in this stage is we're not writing in the lyrics as we want them to be. We're not changing any lyrics. What we're doing is this is what Suno thinks we have, and we're going to fix it. We're going to make Suno realize what the exact lyrics of this song really are. So I've already got this created, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. Alrighty, so I've pulled in and added and corrected my lyrics. So what you'll see here is what I've done is I've added in the ah, yeah, yeahs, alright for the first section of the song, which is hook 1, and I've added the meta tag hook 1. My hook 2, I added that. I didn't need to really change anything, but then you can see that it's all just like one giant paragraph, so we don't want that. Then I have a hook 1 again in the song, a hook 2. Then there's an instrumental section, so I added a meta tag for that. I have another hook 2, and then I have a hook 3 that's very similar to hook 1, but it has some oohs in there, so I named that hook 3 and added the oohs. And then lastly, I have a second instrumental section that's different than the first instrumental, and then I have a section that I call the fade out. Now, the way that you're going to have to do this is if you know the song very well, you've listened to it a lot, you might have a good idea of where all your spots are and all of the words and exactly how they fit, or you would just have to use the tracking tools and go through and play with it until you've got it all narrowed down and it's accurate. You've listened to it, it sounds good. So from here, we're going to click Save Changes. And it's going to say matching lyrics timing to audio. This may take some time and it can be pretty slow. What this is doing right now is the timing that it had on the right side over here. It's going to be adjusting it based on the input you just gave here. So now all of those oohs and ahs you're going to see in a moment that now Suno is tracking them, whereas before I didn't have a context for it because those weren't in the lyrics section. This is going to help you with any replacing of the sections later, replacing of the lyrics, that Suno is tracking it well so that it will be able to understand when you give it new inputs, it'll know kind of where to replace the words for your new sections of lyrics. Okay, so now that's come over, let me show you actually how you can tell that this is working. It's not going to ever be 100% perfect, at least in this version of Suno, but it turned out pretty good. So let me show you what this looks like. Over here, it's going to turn pink as it's tracking the lyrics. Watch this. Click on the top and hit play. The very beginning, it doesn't do it very well, but then it catches on. Alright, so now it's tracking pretty well. Again, the very beginning it didn't pick it up, but I can take it from me. The rest of it turned out pretty decent. It tracks this hook one a little bit better throughout the rest of the track. So now you see as those pink highlights are going along, kind of like karaoke. It's showing you that it is tracking according to your song. This is going to be helpful. The other thing that we need to do, as you saw, is we need to split this out into their own sections and rename them. Up at the very top, you'll see you have these numbers. Well, what do they mean? They mean the beats of the song. So if you scroll in a little bit, you can see it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And this will help you in determining musically where you should divide out the sections of the song. It does help if you have some musical training, but if you have none, you can know that most music is based in counts of 4 and 8. So you could usually think that you could count to 4 roughly 8 times, or count to 8 4 times, which is a total of 32 beats. That's usually a section of a song, or it could be doubled. So think in terms of 4 and 8. That will help you out. Down here, if you're having trouble hearing the beats, now with this song it's pretty easy because it has a very heavy bass drum. Every beat is 4 on the floor, so it's da, 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 da. But if you had trouble hearing where those beats were at, you could go down here to the metronome button and turn that on, and it's going to give you an extra click track so you can really hear it. And then on top of that, you have this to help you guide you. So let me play and then watch along. You'll hear it beat as it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay, so that's what you can use to kind of help you when you're determining exactly where to split it. You want to be accurate. So I happen to know it's around beat 49 that the second section starts. So let's start a little bit early, and then we see beat 49 is right here. Let's see if I'm right, that this is the correct spot that it's going to change. Here we go. Alright, so I know for sure another catchy vaporwave track is hook 2. Perfect. So make sure you click on that beat where you want to split it, right click there, and then click the split button. Now you've created a new section. Actually, you've created two sections. The one that you want to rename, and then you've got the whole rest of the song to do the rest of your work. So what I recommend doing from here is clicking on the top of this section that right now it's just named song. So click on the top so it's all selected, then right click and choose a different color to help yourself organize. So I chose purple when I was doing my dividing of these out. So now everything that is hook 1, I'm going to make it purple, and I am going to rename it. So you can go up to the top, it just says song here in this box. The clip name, I'm going to name it hook 1, like that, and then hit the enter button. And now it is renamed hook 1. So we are good to go. And we would go through and continue to divide out our song until we have all of our sections. A couple of tips here I wanted to throw in there is, as you can see, now I've divided out my sections. The only reason that these little green sections are divided is basically when I was doing my prep for this tutorial and dividing it out, this was just hook 2, this was just hook 2, so take my word on that. Something that you want to make sure you do when you're doing your editing is go up to this My Workspace button and make sure that you choose the workspace that you want it to go in. Otherwise, it's just going to go into your generic My Workspace. As you can see, I have 1,232 clips in there, so that's not very helpful. So click the one that you want it to go to. I'm going to choose this one, and then that should be good. You'll know because it'll say the name of your workspace up here. The other thing to note is that uh, if you click Save as New Song, unfortunately, all of this nice dividing out that you did, where you've created your own splits, doesn't carry across. I tested that out. It doesn't work. So you have to continue working in here. Saving it as a new song will create a new song, but it's not really for this editing purpose. So I just want to let you know that. Tried it. It doesn't really help. So keep that in mind. Alrighty, now that we've tidied up our sections, made them look nice and clean, and we've matched the lyrics to the audio, the next step we're going to do is I'm going to show you one way that you can replace the lyrics, and that is to replace a small section of lyrics within your song. This can be one of the hardest things to get right in Suno, and your generations can often be varied quite a bit. So it may take some finagling to get your lyrics right and modifying them slightly if you want this to work. Now, the section that we're going to modify is the phrase is going to be this another catchy vaporwave track right up here. See if I can highlight it for you. So I'm clicking on the section that the entire section that I want to edit, but we don't really want that. We only want to highlight just the section of that sound. So let's zoom in a little bit and then let's listen and highlight only the phrase another catchy vaporwave track. I'm going to do that now. Another catchy vaporwave track. All right, so I can already tell that there's actually a little bit of editing. My hook is not exactly in the right spot, so I'm going to fix that now. All right, so let's listen for the another catchy vaporwave track so we can select just that part. So let's highlight about here and check to make sure that it sounds all right. And down here on the loop button, we can do that if we want to repeat it a few times to make sure we've got it just right. So I'll click that. All right, I like that. I think that it'll give it enough context to create it decently. And so what we want to do next is click on this replace lyrics button here. You can also see that it has highlighted it, but it's not exactly perfect, the words that it is chosen for us. Also, I'm going to uncheck the loop button now. I don't think I need it right now. So click on replace lyrics. Now what it's going to do is bring in your new lyrics area. And actually the screen is going to look slightly different. At first it's going to say fix alignment. So you are going to want to click this, and when you do click it, it's going to bring up these little pink sliders buttons. Now what these sliders do, as you can see over here in this pop-up box, you need to drag the handle such that the selected span of the lyrics matches what you hear in the selected audio. So really what we're doing is we're telling Suno, look, I don't have all right in the section I just selected. You're a little bit off. Let's bring it down like that. We can try this, or you may even want to try it as put this little meta tag in there just so it knows and it has that context. I have been leaving the style section the same. It's been working for me, but if you had for some reason you wanted to do some changing of it, you could do that. So this is the same style input as I've used to create the song. Exclude styles, I haven't had to use that, but if you needed to, if Suno kept giving you an input and there was something about it you didn't like, you may want to try this. And then I have had all my success so far in the new Suno editor by using this smart feature. You could try classic or fixed if you feel like there's some benefit for you there, but smart has been working for me. We need to put in the changed lyrics, so I'm going to do that now. I'm copy pasting it in, and I put it this way. We're really going to bring the dead mouse back. So I did have to play with this a little bit. The number of syllables in this phrase, another catchy vaporwave track, That is 9 syllables, and I tried to match that up so the more you can make your new lyrics, even if it's different words, line up both to the declension or like the vibe and the beat and the way the words go up and down, and the number of syllables, you're going to have more likely to have a good result. So we have, we really gonna bring the dead malls back. So I guess I have 10 there. Still, it's all right. It's pretty close. And then I tried playing around with capitalizing a letter to maybe make it emphasize that's a higher note, putting a comma in there to get it a little bit of a pause for a moment to match up to the original if I'm trying to keep the melody the same. You will have to play around with this if you're not getting the results you want, but I would say just start out with matching the syllables is a good idea if you really want it to be the same. And again, just play around. It takes some testing and some trying out to get it to work. Let's give this one a shot and see how they turn out. All right, so my two new edits have loaded. Let's give them a listen and see if any of them is worth using. We really gonna bring the dead walls back. Oh yeah, you gotta listen to this groove and send me no flag. Let's try the other one. Okay, so the first one was better, the second one was okay. I have generated quite a few of these replacements, so let me show you one that turned out really well. Again, it takes some time and playing around, but you hopefully you will find one that you like. Check this one out. All right, one more time. So I'm going to keep that one. The next thing that you need to do is click the commit button. If you've already been playing around and you're on a different loaded one in here, you may need to click it as insert, and then from there it'll put it in, demo it for you, and then from there you need to click on the commit button. So I'm going to go ahead and commit to this one. And now it'll say new lyrics inserted here. If for whatever reason you decided you wanted to keep your original audio, you could go down in here and click on that, and it will bring up the old audio. Now you might be thinking, well, that's cool, Cam, but the replaced track doesn't quite line up with the sound of the other track. There is a trick in Suno that you can use to help clean this up and make it sound a little bit smoother, and it's called heel edits. So the way that you can do healed edits is whatever section you just replaced, go to the next section, such as this hook 2, go down to the dot dot dot, go down to this button, heal edits, and give it a shot. Click on it. It's guessing and it's trying to clean up your track a little bit and get the sound to be more natural. So let's listen to the example that it gave us. We'll start from maybe the begin before a little bit before the section that we replaced. All right, so you can tell that this took a little bit more of that replace section singer's voice and melded it into the melody throughout this section. And then when we hit this break, it kind of brought back in that new, that just slightly different production sound with a little bit more reverb in there. There's definitely some playing around to do with this, and you know, you will have to finagle it according to your own taste. What you can do is if you don't, let's say you thought that that was too long, you wanted to only a little bit, you could just click on the drag here on this side or on this side, and it's going to modify that a little bit. Let's try and hear what this sounds like now that I've dragged it around a little lot. So that's how you can replace a section, do heel edits. It does take some playing around with that with the heel edits button to make it smooth. And lastly, you may even want to try remastering your track and or using it doing a cover at you know, let's say like 0% weirdness, 100% of the other two slider buttons so that you can just recreate it, but with just a slightly different production sound, and that might also help you heal your sections that you've placed in there. Alrighty, so the second replace section technique I want to show you today is how to add a word or a couple words to a section. Now, in my original song, I really loved how it came out, but there was one little thing I noticed, and if you look down here, I said is gonna hit ya in feels, so where we at, where we at. What I meant to type was it's gonna hit ya in the feels. It's gonna hit ya in the feels, so I had a typo there. Now, I just happened to turn out that I like it. It's fine. I still like the way it sounds, but let's say I wanted to say in the feels. You can add words into Suno. It does take some tricks, as I mentioned before with the previous technique. Let's go in and try to do that in here. So again, the same thing, go ahead and click on the section that you want to edit, but really what you want to do so you can see it here is zoom in a little bit, and we're going to find that section. So we'll just play around until we can find the is going to hit you in the feels. Let's find it. All right, so it's about here. Let's try that and make sure that it's right. I don't want it to say where, so let's just put it about here. Give that a shot. All right. So what we need to do is the exact same as we did before, is we click on the replace lyrics button. Again, that is right here. Click on replace lyrics. You should see that your lyrics are highlighted. We could click fix alignment to make sure that they line up. Let's double check that one more time. Again, using this loop button to help us out. Perfect. It's all lined up. It looks good. We could tell that by the pink over here. And no, I don't want to have this section of the lyrics. I want to have my new one. So all that it's going to be is I'm going to put is gonna hit ya in the feels. So where we at? Now, I did some testing prior to this to make sure that it would work, and what I found worked better was because I need him to say in the feels quite quickly at basically like a 16th note pace. I tried, and this seemed to work pretty well to keep the exact beat the same. So he can say it's gonna hit ya in the feels, so where we at? Again, this is some tricky, and you need to learn, you need to practice and twist this around depending on your lyrics, and if you're inserting the words, it's going to obviously add more words into your section, so you might need to play around with these things to try to get Suno to know you wanted to say it faster at certain sections. Again, it takes some finagling for it. Let's go ahead and replace the section, and we'll see how they turn out. Alright, so where those songs were loading, the first ones actually didn't work for me. I had to play a little around a little bit more and proved myself wrong. It turned out a little bit better on these tries when I put in the fields with no dashes. So again, like I said, it takes finagling. Let's give a listen to a couple of these, and then let's listen to the one that was my favorite that I created before we created this tutorial. So let's listen to a couple of successful ones. And the next one. Again, it changes the voice sound a little bit, but we can try to use the heel edits to fix that. This is just inherent with all things in Suno when you're replacing the section. Let me show you a couple of examples of the unsuccessfuls. Back to earlier when we just typed that in the fields with the hyphens. So that one, it just said the same thing. It didn't really change it. Okay, so it changed the voice again. Let's check this one out. That one worked, but it changed the vocals a little bit too much for my taste. That one changed it a lot. I didn't really like that either. And then my favorite one was down here. Let's give it a listen. I think it was this one. So that one was my favorite. It happened to have happened before we made the video, but it's there. It still remembers, Suno remembers if you leave and come back. So I'm going to stick with that one. That was my favorite. Let's go ahead and commit it in there. All right, so now I have my new lyrics. Let's listen to it within the context and remove the reloop button here. Here. All right, sounds pretty good. I don't like that it has an at in there. It just added that for some reason. That's all right. Maybe we can try to get it to fix it with the heel edits. So we'll go in and click on this hook 2 again, go down to the dot 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 and click on heel edits. Let's see how it sounds now. You can see I have a little bit of a slider bar to edit those. So that one turned out really good. I liked that. So if I was going to put that in there, that's the one I'd use, and that heel edits did help smooth it out quite a bit. So I was happy with that. And with that, that is how you can add a word into Suno and then use the heel edits feature to keep a smooth flow. Again, just like with all of the replace section and replacing lyrics, it does take some experimentation, some iteration. Keep going at it, and I think you will find a great section that you can replace in your song, so should you choose. Now, we've come to technique number 3, which is how to replace a section that is a repeated section in your song. So the most common example of this would be a chorus. In my song, it is the second hook that repeats over and over, and I'm going to replace that section of those lyrics in the other sections. The first thing I want to show you is that look over here in my space here. When we did if you were watching in the previous section, when we added our lyrics, over here, we added in the fields, we added our word, and then we did our heel edits button. It kind of messed up where my section header was, and it made it too long. So this is something that I think is either a bug or it's just not a great user interface feature at the moment. But whenever you use heel edits, it will kind of mess with your section headers and make them not in the right spot. I wouldn't recommend going around and dragging this unless you wanted to change the sound. What you need to do is just find the spot that your new section is supposed to start and then redo that section header. It's a big pain. You may want to just skip it if you think your song is good for there, but I will go ahead and fix that section header. So the way that I would do it real quick is I will find my new section by just playing the song. So let's do that. Okay, so I know that my new section, my new hook 1 is here, so I'm going to split it out. And then now it's the correct hook 1. To make it a little bit easier, this is what I do. I highlight the part that really should be hook 2, and then I will just make those green. Make my life a little bit easier. So again, hook 2 is roughly equivalent to the chorus in my song, and those are the green sections. So I've already referred back to the previous section of this video if you're not sure, but what I have done is in hook 2, I have replaced is gonna hit ya in feels right here. It used to say is gonna hit you in feels, and now I've changed it to it's gonna hit you in the feels. So now I need to replace it. Since this is a repeated section 2 other places, I need to do that again. To replace it in the further sections is we're going to need to know how long our replace section is so we can delete it, and we need to know where it starts. So let's go ahead and log it, zoom in here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So the first thing I need to do is go here to beat number 49 because that's the start of my section, and I'm going to count how many beats it takes to get up to the start of my new replace section. All right, so for this first section, we have 65 minus 49, and that equals 16 beats. And then for our replace section, we have 75 minus 65, which equals 10 beats. So that will help us when we move over to the other repeated sections to choose the right spot to delete out. Now I'm going to zoom out and find my next section, which is right here. Let's zoom in. So we found that if we start at the beginning of this, it is beat 129. And if we move forward 16 spots is what we calculated, 16 beats, we're going to end up at beat 145. Please disregard this little cut here. Just imagine it's one whole section for demo purposes, but we're at 145. That's where we're going to start our selecting. And our replace section is a total of 10 beats, so we need to move forward 10. So we're going to go from 145 to 155 right here, and it should line up properly. And then what we're going to do is just go in and delete that. Okay, so now I need to remember this is my spot right here. It's the, in my case, it's the third line. In yours, it would only be one split there. But I'm going to actually just copy paste over. So let me go over to my replaced section right here. I am going to click on it on the top, right click it, and I will hit the copy button. Let's go over to our section over here, the new one, and we said it was right at this little spot. So let's see if it will let us paste it in there. Perfect. Let's go ahead and give it a listen. That turned out really good. Now, if you needed to do a little bit more finagling, if your chorus, your second or third chorus sounded a little bit different than the first one, perhaps you need to do your heel edits feature. Now, this might be a little trickier if your choruses really are different, if they have very different volume levels, but usually a chorus or a hook that's just repeating, it should be roughly the same. So again, go ahead and try this, and you should be able to, just using the single replace section, as long as you have one good one, you don't need to keep going through and replacing section with the button and regenerating new tracks that don't line up. Just copy paste it over and then use heel edits. And again, we can do a little bit of math or just listening by ear to put it into the right spot. So with that, that is how you can replace sections on replace lyrics in repeated sections, such as a chorus or a repeated hook. And that's a wrap on mastering lyric edits in Suno's new editor. Today you learned how to tidy up your song sections, match lyrics to audio for fail-proof tracking and organization. You learned how to replace a small section of lyrics. You learned how to add new words in there for perfect and smooth transitions. You learned how to heal the edits so they're even smoother, and you learned how to easily replace multiple repeated sections such as a chorus or a repeatable hook. Now, no more regenerating a whole new song and having to start fresh when you really like the song you had before. Now you have all these tools in your toolkit, and when you master them, you're going to have a lot better time when you want to replace the lyrics or edit them in Suno. Lastly, if you found this walkthrough helpful, would you mind giving me a like, subscribing, hitting that bell icon, sharing with your friends, and dropping a comment below? Any edit tricks that you have, I'd love to hear them. Lastly, I'm always cooking up new tutorials, so let me know in the comments too what kind of features you'd like me to cover next. And until next time, this is Cam with CBAI. Thanks for watching. Have a good one and take care.